Welcome to the Publishing Twins. I'm Tasha.
Hi, and I'm Sophie. And this week, we're talking about inspiration, writing inspiration.
Inspiration is one of the most important things to writers because you can go with a method and hit all the plot points, but if you have inspiration, it brings the joy to the writing. And if you're enjoying your own writing, then it will come through to the reader.
Yeah, at least we hope it does.
Yeah, well, it usually does. Even if you haven't got your craft quite right, if you have the inspiration, it comes through to the reader, and if they're enjoying the story, you'd be amazed what some people will forgive. So I mean, it's like if you're inspired by something, you want to write fan fiction for it, then people will enjoy it even if you're still getting there with the craft, because they will love what you love.
Fanfic is a great way to practice your craft. It's a great way to learn because when we were learning and when we were first putting stuff out into the public domain, we had a lot of really friendly, helpful people who would give us feedback. And with fanfic, if you want to share it with other people, you can publish it to AO3, also known as Archive of Our Own, and you can work out why it's called AO3 from that. But that's a place where it's totally protected. You can publish anything as long as you're not making money from it. You can share wherever inspiration has taken you. Okay, so having told people where we post our fanfic, I think let's step back a bit. And Tash, tell me what was your earliest inspiration to write? What actually inspired you to want to start writing down your own words in your own form?
Well, that's an easy one. I know exactly when it happened. It was when our teacher read us The Hobbit at primary school. And
Okay.
I immediately went home and in my exercise book started scribbling a really, really bad version of The Hobbit, because, when you're like 8, that's what you do. You just come up with all sorts of ideas that are exactly the same as the ideas you just heard. But, it was still fun. And I filled up pages and pages. Of course, I wasn't actually particularly good at writing at that point. So, there are lots of sort of I mean, I thought it
What
was loads of word. It might have been maybe 200 at a push.
you mean you weren't a child prodigy?
Well, of course I was, but no, I was absolutely terrible, like all the small children are. But it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. And that fire, once lit, never went away. So that was my inspiration. What was yours?
I think mine's not quite as specific as yours. I mean, I enjoyed listening to The Hobbit, but I can't say Tolkien actually inspired me to go write. I think more I was inspired by, I think, fairy tales. I absolutely loved reading all the I think the Brothers Grimm first, their household tales. Absolutely adored reading those. And I mean, I know they've been sanitized over the years, and because I've been back and actually I've got a book on the original ones now, which is really interesting. But that's good from a kind of intellectual perspective. Whereas when I read them as a kid, I just found the ideas, the different types of people and creatures and everything in them. I found
Magic.
them. Yes, magic. Yes, magic, definitely. Love me a bit of magic. I mean, if you read my sci-fi stuff, there's a bit of magic in there. There's always a little bit of can't be explained stuff in my writing because I find that really interesting. I think that's why I like ghost stories, because there's the mystery as well as the spookiness and the jump scares, which you have to have jump scares when you're watching a movie. I mean, even if people say, oh, they're cheap now, I still like a good jump scare.
A good jump scare is great. The thing is, if you overuse them, it's bad. But if you use them well, it's great. Like the Woman in Black, the
Oh,
TV
yeah.
version. The TV
Mm.
version is so scary, so
Oh,
scary.
it is.
I mean, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and I think they get the tension in that one. They really
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
There's only one jump scare in the TV version too. One big jump
Yes,
scare. All the others are tension building shots, which are absolutely beautiful, and they just make you go and want to run away and hide behind the sofa. I mean, because ghost stories are a great inspiration for writing.
and I think
And
that
it,
that's something else. Books, you have the chance to do different types of engagement with your reader, because books can have jump scares in them, but books are really good for building the tension as well. I mean, the ones I read, the Ellie Jordan mysteries, they're really good for building the mystery and the tension. And then there's some bits where you are terrified. You're going, can I read the next bit? Can I read the next bit?
that's what's inspiring about reading some books.
Mm,
You read them, and
absolutely.
they not only they grab your imagination, and they also show you how it should be done as well. And being shown how it should be done is can be just as inspiring as giving you ideas of how things are done, because
Mm,
it shows you that this is how the craft works. And when you learn a new thing, you want to go and try it out.
yeah, because you have to understand which bits, I think, when you're reading, if as a writer, if you're inspired by something, is this your style or isn't it as well? It's like Stephen King is a quite slow burn, and I mean his books are huge. His writing is, it draws you in. I mean Salem's Lot, absolutely fantastic. The
Favorite
writing
book.
in that, and you do get you it is very tense at times as well. And so yeah, what Stephen King is so good at is atmosphere. From Salem's Lot, it's the small town isolated feel, and that's where I took my inspiration from him. Because I don't try and write his type of books, that's not me at all, but I have written my own ghost story. The from the Haunted Mind series, I'm planning on doing more than one, but it's The Burning Web is the name of the story. But I was looking for setting atmosphere because I've set it in a haunted house. And I wanted to build the atmosphere, build the location. It's not just the house itself, it's where it's situated and the characters that are in it, who's there, how isolated is it? Because isolation is kind of important when it comes to this story.
Yeah.
So it's, and that's where I took the inspiration around building that kind of feeling from. I mean, I don't know what my writing compares to Stephen King is like. I don't even try and compare myself to Stephen King. Actually, the master
No,
is the
that
master.
way lies madness.
Yes, that's, don't compare yourself to too many other people. Just take inspiration from other people.
Yes, and of course we also take a lot of inspiration from all the stuff we used to watch as when we were
Oh
kids.
yes.
The
Mm.
80s is a huge inspiration. I mean, especially things like, I mean, The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys is the
Oh,
reason is the reason we have a vampire obsession. I mean, we saw it
absolutely.
in the cinema when it came out, and that was it. Addicted to vampires ever since.
Yes, because before that, I was terrified of vampires. I didn't like thinking about them because I think the idea of someone biting you and you then being stuck living forever as this kind of creepy monster wasn't for me. And then we got the Lost Boys, sexy vampires.
Before that, vampires were all, suits and capes. I mean,
Mm,
even in, I mean, I suppose Fright Night did come before the Lost Boys, but it wasn't as big, and he was still also the remote guy who lived in the house who was very sophisticated.
yeah. Jerry Dandridge was very much a Dracula esque character.
Yeah, which is yeah, I can never forgive the remake, but let's not go there this time. Um, the Lost Boys, it was like teenage vampires, and they looked so cool. That was the whole point.
Or at
They were
least they
just
said they were teenagers.
oh well, yeah, of course they weren't. They were like. I mean, it's like the guy playing the lead was in his 20s, for heaven's sake. I mean, none of them were teenagers except Corey Haim, who was also playing a teenager,
Yeah.
and
And the Frog Brothers.
the Frog Brothers. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman and I'm sorry, I can't remember the other chap's name.
I'll look him up and put him up when
Yeah,
we
thanks.
when the edited
yeah,
reel add his name.
yes.
And apologies for not remembering it.
The Lost Boys really because it was the one that launched that teenage genre really, because it launched the cool vampire as well as the sophisticated vampire, I think.
Yes, it did.
And of course there are all the homoerotic overtones of the movie as well, which I totally missed as a teenager, but I can totally appreciate now.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the Lost Boys, I mean that was one of our early fanfics, wasn't it? That we both wrote Lost Boys fanfic. And thankfully it never saw the light of day because we wrote on paper
with a pen. Yeah. And it has been scanned in, but nobody's ever seeing it. That's just for posterity. Because never throw anything away. That's a good writing tip. Never throw anything away. You never know when you might find gold amongst the rubbish pile.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And it's also useful to go back. I mean, if you get stuck, you're just feeling in a slump, it's really good to just go back and have a read of some of your old ideas, even if it's just notes. I mean, I have bits. I've actually got a spreadsheet now. I've got organized. I have a spreadsheet of all my ideas, and some of them literally are. I've got one line. It literally says, "There's one line. No idea where it was going, but it sounds kind of good."
I have so many files in. I literally have a folder called Concepts that has all of these different files in them, and they're literally the title of the file is something like "Werewolf and Vampire Do Something," or and it's because that's the only idea. And because Soph and I write in very different ways. Soph writes from beginning to end. I write. I start where the inspiration hit me. So if I have an idea for a scene, that's where I start, and then I bounce all over the place, filling it in. So I am chaos embodied, whereas Soph is actually very organized.
I am. I'm much more organized, and I'm glad to actually hear Richard Osman say he writes from front to back as well, beginning to end. I thought, yes, a famous writer that does what I do, because writing is very personal. I mean, we're twins, for goodness sake, and we write completely differently. I mean, I think that's just the way it is. You just get used to the way you like doing things. I mean, I couldn't do what Tash does if I wrote chaotically, as she calls it, so lovingly calls it. I would be. I have done this, but I have done this. I go back and I literally have to rewrite whatever scenes the future scenes I put in, because they don't feel quite right anymore, which might be part of your process, Tash. I don't know whether it is or not, but that would drive me potty.
No, what I tend to do is what I've already written, for, sort of just it's helped shape what I write in when I'm bouncing around. So the story, because I don't have a full idea of the story when I first start. Usually, I often I have no idea where it's going, not even a little bit. Sometimes I'm literally just writing what I'm seeing in my head, and then the story starts building around it. So all of these bits come into being because I know I need that to happen over there and that to happen, and the bits that the bits that actually take the work are the joining bits. Usually I get to a certain point in a story, and then I have it all read, and then I have to decide what scenes are missing, and I write them in, and that's when I actually have to plan. and I have to put them in, and then I can fill in those as my heart to my heart's content as well, because I don't fill those in order either, because why would I bother doing that, because that would be sensible.
I like the joining bits are the important bits for me. The things that the ideas in my head have to go together and flow and make sense. So that part of my inspiration is actually working that out. I love writing notes. I think
She does. She does. Some of her notes are bigger than my scenes.
Yeah. I do like to make sure I've got all the points I want to get into a scene in my notes. So sometimes it depends on how complex the scene is. I mean, if it's just a simple chase scene or something, they don't need many notes. But if it's a conversation that I need to bring things out in, I will tend to write down the points I want to get in. It's like when we're planning these discussions, we will actually have the points you want to get in. When I do that, there's a lot more of them, I have to say, in my writing than there are in these discussions.
You have all of these ideas, and then you're just trying to get them down, and then sometimes they don't happen. I mean, let's face it, you've got me on this call as well, so I am the element of chaos. So, it's like, woo, we're going. Yeah.
She is the element of chaos. Yeah. Because we started, this is about inspiration, but we've been wandering off. And we're happy with that. That's the whole point of these discussions. They can meander a bit.
If you have inspiration, if you find inspiration in things, run with it. Because the enjoyment will come out in the writing. I mean, you've got to finesse it later, but that's in the editing. Whilst you're doing the first draft, go with it. If you're inspired to put, dragons in your story, put the dragons in. Or grab the werewolf or the vampire. What is inspiring you, go with it. Just and enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy the writing, it's gonna come through to the reader.
It's gonna feel boring.
Yeah. Because the spark has to be there. And you can build the spark. So even if you're not feeling it, and because you've written something, and then suddenly you're not feeling the next bit, don't worry. You can get the spark back.
It sometimes just takes a bit of work. I mean, that's the whole point of building your craft, because you can go, okay, this scene isn't working, and you can analyze it. You can also work with an editor, of course. Editors are fantastic people.
Or beta readers.
And beta readers, yeah. Their feedback is really useful. Sometimes you ignore it because it doesn't fit with where you want to go. Other times it fits perfectly. And if you find a beta reader like that, stick with them, because they'll really help your writing. Also, they can challenge it as well. If they go, yeah, that's just nonsense, that doesn't make sense, and things like that, you have to listen. Yeah, but that's part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, or they say things like, you missed a bit there, or these things, yeah, they're not, they don't link up.
Or they might go, how do you get from here to here?
Yeah.
How do you get from A to B? You're here at this point, and then you're here. How do you get from A to B? I mean, we have these kind of conversations all the time. When we're, especially if we're betaing for each other, if we're doing a quick read of something that we're doing, our short stories or something like that, and we go and we'll feed back to each other and go, this doesn't make sense, or you need more here. I mean, I'm frequently telling Tash, you need more here, and she goes, yeah, I know. I was hoping you hadn't noticed.
And what I'm frequently telling Soph is, this paragraph goes on way too long, and I think you could probably take out the middle bit, because Soph likes her long paragraphs. Very long paragraphs.
I once had a sentence that was the entire paragraph.
She did. And I had to go, no, just no. Whoops.
Yeah.
It's like
split. Whoop, rearrange. There we go.
If you're doing literary fiction and making a point, you can do that. If you're writing genre fiction, you can't. because people will. Yeah, the problem is if you're reading a really long sentence, people need to breathe. And if you read it in your head, some people read and they don't breathe when they're reading the sentence. At which point you're going, by the time you get to the end. That's why reading aloud helps.
It does
Yes.
help inspirationally as well. If you're stuck on a scene, just go and read it. Read it and read it aloud to yourself and listen to it. I mean, we're currently recording some bits for this channel to do some stories and bits from our stories, and it really helps to actually read things out loud. I mean, sometimes, some of these stories we've already published, and sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I should have changed that. The sentence doesn't quite work, and it's a case of, okay, my editor didn't get that one. Mostly my editor does catch most things, but sometimes I think everything, you can keep polishing things, can't you?
Yes, and you can go too far sometimes. It's like every time you read your own fiction, you will find something where you go, I wish I hadn't done it like that. Or if I just tweak this. And when you're doing the draft stage, that's great. When you've just published the book, don't read it for a while. Just trust me, don't read it for a while. Because even though it's been through the editing process, you will go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. And actually, it's because you're too close to it.
Coming back to your own writing after a while can be quite surprising. Sometimes you think, I forgot I wrote that. Did I write that?
Did I write that? My name's on it.
Yes.
Did I write that really?
And that's why I did in the first place. I went and did my spreadsheet of all my notes and ideas, because I have some of Tash's ideas on my computer as well, and I go, was that me or was that Tash? Sometimes I have to ask her, did you write that or did I can't remember, because we do have very different writing styles, but sometimes I just can't tell.
No, occasionally we come together and it's like, which one of us wrote that? Especially once it's been edited, because
Yes, when it's been through several pairs of hands. Yeah, we wandered off a long way, but we were talking about what we used to watch, and I think, the 80s, we were saying they had a really good selection of things that inspired us as children. I think I read it before I saw it. Was it Dragon Slayer?
That's the one where they go to where they're sacrificing virgins to the dragon.
Yes. And I read the book of that before I saw the movie, because I picked that up at Jumble Sale. Americans, you might not know what jumble sales are. They're kind of like thrift stores, but one day you go into a room where everyone's put all of this junk.
Because didn't we see? But we started watching Dragon Slayer at somebody's birthday party. I think it was at the, but we didn't get to see the end of it. Because I remember we didn't see the whole of Dragon Slayer for a very long time. We just saw. I think we just saw the whole final scene, I think. And then
it's a very odd movie to have seen. When you think of classic fantasy movies, it's not a classic fantasy, is it? Because it's very much about the flawed hero. It's quite a sophisticated story, actually, which when you're sort of 12, you don't really understand. But then I think there were quite a few of those that came out in the 80s. It was a very mixed bag of movies, because we were expecting just a standard sword and sorcery fantasy movie for Dragon Slayer, and it's not. It's got much more depth to it.
If you want a bog standard sword and sorcery, you want things like Krull.
Oh, I love Krull.
Krull is awesome, but it does have sci-fi elements in it as well. And good old Conan the Barbarian. Well, actually, Conan the Destroyer would have been more our age group.
Yeah, that was very much. Conan the Barbarian was very much more based on the books, wasn't it? Whereas the
Conan the Destroyer is very silly and very 80s camp. Yeah.
Yes, I love that
Yes.
movie. Yeah,
That's awesome. But
that's
it's
what.
very silly, and it's nowhere near as sophisticated as Conan the Barbarian.
No, another really good thinking about that, the one that came out about the same time, because I think we got the videos at the same time, VHS guys, that's how long ago this was Highlander.
Oh yeah, I watched that the other night. Highlander the series was okay, just never ever mention the other Highlander movies because they're all terrible. All of
Oh,
them.
oh yeah. Even the series spin-offs are bad
Yeah,
movies. They're just really bad movies. I mean, Highlander really inspired us. Again, more fanfic.
more fanfic. Yeah, that's the first fanfic I ever published online.
That's what
Was
I was about
Highlander.
to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will let you say it.
So we got into fanfic via mailing lists. For those people who don't know what those are, kind of a message board kind of system. They were listserv. So you sent an email. This is all text. You sent an email to a list, and your email would appear in the list of everything else that was coming up. So it was a bit like the modern apps we have, a bit like Twitter and things, although you could put a whole fanfic up.
No algorithm.
Yeah, there was no algorithm. No, you got to see everything. Everything went to the mailing list you saw, which is great because you got to pick what you wanted to read. So you didn't read
But
everything. You just saw the titles.
but you had to make sure that your you had carriage returns at the end of every line because otherwise it would disappear off into the distance and you'd never find the end of the line. And um you had to cut it if you were replying to somebody, you had to only put in the bits of their message that were actually relevant. So if you were replying to their fanfic and giving them some feedback, you'd only put in the little bit you were feeding back to because people were paying by the byte for their email. So you had to make sure you didn't put
Yes.
anything that wasn't required for what these were for. So yeah, I mean, it was the dark ages
Yeah, it's very, very early internet.
because we didn't have to deal with algorithms. So you got to see what you wanted to see.
We got to pick what we wanted to read, not get
Oh,
told what we wanted to read based
oh,
on what
by
we'd
the
read before.
and talking of fanfic, if you go to Archive Our Own, they have no algorithm. Your search results give you what you were searching for, not what the algorithm wanted you to be searching for. Woo! But yeah, thought I had better get that in there.
So, should we go back to inspiration and round this up then? Because we seem to have wandered off the topic again, haven't we? So, yeah, inspiration. I mean, over the years, we have been inspired by a lot of different things. I mean, vampires, ghosts, sci fi, 80s movies. I mean, my goodness, 80s movies and 80s TV series.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots and lots of really good stuff shared in the 80s. And it wasn't too gatekept. You could get at most things. And yes, we were writing really, really, really bad, what would now probably be called fanfic,
Mm,
based on TV shows and stuff in the early 80s. But thank
yeah.
goodness that's never seeing the light of day
No,
ever.
no, 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 no. Don't have to show that. I do actually feel sorry for the youngsters these days because they write it and then it goes straight out there. And there's no and once it's on the internet, it's there forever. So you
Yes.
have to own up to your Mary Sue's and your hopeless romance that you wrote as a 13-year-old. But we were lucky. It's in a drawer.
Yes, that kind of stuff is hard copy. It's not electronic. So yes, it's a really good thing that we got to practice before. But I think actually practicing in public is a good thing as well. I mean, the mailing lists and things where we learnt to write. I mean, some of my early Highlander fanfic is pretty cringy.
Mine's
Yes.
awful. Yeah, it's like, "Ugh." but 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 the thing is, everybody was lovely. All of the
Yeah.
support was there. that's, as a writer, writing in isolation is really hard. So if you're inspired by
Yeah.
something and other people are inspired by it as well, it really helps to be in a group situation because they understand the love and they can help you with the craft. So find your people, basically. Find your
Yeah, I mean,
people.
it's a bit more difficult, I think, now. I mean, we used to write on LiveJournal as well. I mean, we published quite a lot of stuff on LiveJournal. Again, LiveJournal, probably ask your parents if you don't know what LiveJournal is. But it was one of the really early, after mailing lists. It was what followed mailing lists. It was kind of the interactivity where you could talk to different people and you could create groups and things. So a bit like Threads
And you had your own blog.
and other things like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Tumblr is probably where we went from LiveJournal.
It is because after LiveJournal was taken over by the Russians, everybody moved off it. And of course, go read fan lore about LiveJournal and about how they just started deleting people's blogs indiscriminately, and then everybody moved to Tumblr.
So we've got Tumblr, but we've also got AO3, of course. AO3, it's that place. You do get feedback.
Yes, people write
but it's
comments.
more a place. Yeah, it's more a place to post your works, and then you can start conversations. It depends how much you post. I use it. I mean, I primarily use it as an archive because it's archive of our own. So I've moved quite a lot of my stuff that was on LiveJournal is now on AO3, and it's a really useful place to go back to and go and explore occasionally.
Oh
And
yeah,
you have
because
to
reading.
know what you're looking for.
Well, yeah, but it's got a tag system, so you literally just search for it, and up it pops. It's not gonna hand feed you, but they have a very, very, very good tag system. So if you search for the tags, you will find what you are looking for, down to specificity. I can't say it. Down to very specific things.
Specificity, dear.
Specificity. Thank you.
Specificity.
That's the word I was looking for. I'm sorry. Okay. It would not resolve in my brain. It was like nope. Yeah. And it's a great place to draw inspiration from as well. I mean, I do remember the first time I ever wrote fanfic. I did read through a huge archive, and the archive at that point was all text. Literally, you just pick the files off the archive, and I did read through a lot of stories because I was terrified I was going to be writing the same as somebody else. But what you have to understand is it's not exactly what you write, it's how you write it, which is why inspiration is why you can use things as inspiration, because you may be writing a similar plot, but every romance has a similar formula. And there are loads of vampire romances and werewolf romances and dragon romances and fantasy books. They all have the same basic plots. It's how you write it which is important, which is why inspiration is the most fantastic thing, because you can be inspired by things without copying them. And that's what's so important.
That's the important point. You can be inspired without copying. So you can take ideas and thoughts and use them to jump off into your own stories with. It's not copying. Don't worry about being too similar to somebody else by accident, because you're going to be. I mean, especially when you write fanfic, you get used to this because you'll have written something. I think there was a Star Trek fanfic that I wrote. I never published it, I have to say. And then I saw it actually on The Next Generation, the same plot. And I thought, well, that's interesting.
Yep.
I know they can't read my mind. So
yeah.
It's just coincidences happen. And I think don't get too hung up and think, oh, somebody copied me. They probably didn't. They probably just came up with the same idea at the
Yep.
same time. So I think our advice on that would be, don't worry. Don't worry about being accused of copying, unless of course that's what you're doing.
Yeah, don't copy. It's bad.
Yeah,
Don't plagiarize.
no, and don't use AI. We've already talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't use AI, because it is already plagiarizing other people. It
And if
may
you're
be more
using,
difficult to
yeah,
recognize it, but they
but it
are
is.
actually
And if
doing
you're
that.
using AI, you're missing out on the joy of what writing is about. The joy of the writing is the writing. The clue is in the title.
And that's what I mean. People write fanfic because they like writing and they are inspired by the fandom they happen to be in, whether that happens to be Forever Knight, Highlander, I'm just at anything that you've enjoyed watching or reading. There's probably a fandom for it. I think Winnie the Pooh's got some fandom. There's an
Uh,
awful lot that you if you,
isn't it Rule 34? If you've thought about it, there's probably a fandom for it. Or somebody's
probably,
written the
yeah.
story. I mean, there are some fandoms that have like one person in it. Because I mean, I have written fanfic for a fandom where I am the only person who has any stories on AO3. And I think I've only ever seen one other story, which was on somebody's website, which I think was on GeoCities, which tells you how old it was. And so yeah, I'm the only person I know of.
Again, GeoCities is another thing. Go ask your mum.
Yeah. That's when people created websites by themselves with HTML and none of this, oh, we'll just put blocks in stuff. Yeah, you had to know what you were doing. But
Yep.
anyway, we're old, just so you know.
If you hadn't spotted that.
Inspiration is a great thing. Enjoy your inspiration and enjoy your writing.
Yeah. Have fun with it. That's the whole point of writing. It's a release. It's fun. You can write stuff for fandoms you're in, as long as you're not making money. And you can then write your own stuff as well. We will talk about the fandom to publishing pipeline at some point, but for now,
Not today.
just enjoy what you're doing. Um,
Yeah.
take your inspiration and run with it. That's what we'd say.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, I think that's enough for now.
Yep.
So
So,
see you next time.
yeah.